up first and figure out what we want to do just with our bodies by paying attention to where it is now. So you're going to take your feet about hips distance apart, spread your toes out, and lift them up and spread them out again, and then place them back on the ground, and then grab the ground with your feet. And then roll your shoulders onto your back and stretch your fingers toward the ground. Lift the top of your head toward the ceiling. Take some big inhales and some big exhales. Find that breath. Find your breath all the way down. Breathe into the back of the rib cage. Breathe into the sides of the rib cage. And then take the arms up on the inhale. Interlace your fingers. Squeeze your head. Lift up tall. Stretch over to your right hand side. All right, bend the knees a little bit. Cross your left leg behind your right leg. Keep stretching to your right. Squeeze the inner thighs together and look at a spot about 5 feet in front of you on the ground. And come on up on the inhale, and then exhale to your left-hand side. And bend your knees a little bit, and then cross your right leg behind your left leg and squeeze your inner thighs together. Again, keep focusing on the spot about 5 feet in front of you so your balance is a little bit more steady. All right, come back up on the inhale and release the arms. All right, so we're going to do a couple gentle sun salutations. Come to the top of your mat. Make sure that your blocks are up at the top of your mat as well. And then take the arms up on the inhale. Look up toward the thumbs. Exhale, fold and bend the knees. Inhale, stretch forward and look forward. Exhale, step back. We're going to lower all the way down to the belly. Press forward, drop your knees, drop all the way down to your chest, your belly. Roll your shoulders onto your back, and then slide your hands back a little bit more in line with your chest. Roll your pubic bone toward the ground, zip up your low belly, and then really extend through the legs. And then from here, lift your chest up, and you're going to push gently into the ground, but this is really more your core doing the work. And find your breath. Breathe into the back of your body. If you feel a little bit of compression in your back, zip up your belly more, roll your pubic bone toward the ground more, and try to breathe into that compression with your back. See if you can expand your rib cage back there. All right, now push to all fours. And once we're in all fours here, we're going to get a little bit more of a shoulder opener. So you're going to slide your hands forward, hips are over the knees. And bring your forehead or your chin to the ground, if it can come to the ground, and maybe melt your heart to the ground as well. Big breath. All right, press into the ground and slide the hands back. We're going to do a little bit of cat-cow first. Claw the ground. Press your toenails into the ground so you can feel your low belly zipping up. And then reach your heart forward and your tailbone back. Exhale, round the back, tuck your chin, tuck your tailbone. Get a nice big stretch through the fascia of your back. Inhale, lengthening out. And exhale, rounding. You just follow your own breath on this one. Inhale, lengthening. And exhale, round. All right, come back to a neutral place. Extend your right leg back behind you. Extend your left arm out in front of you. Take a few moments here. So there's some really subtle little muscles engaging through your core when we do this posture. Keep pressing your left toes into the ground. Extend out, but as you're extending out through your left arm, you're pulling your left arm back into your shoulder socket. As you extend through your right leg, you're also pulling your right leg forward into your hip socket. All right, let's try a little balancing posture. So we're going to try to take the left arm out to the left and the right leg out to the right. Don't forget to breathe. All right, bring the leg and the arm back in. Let's go for the other side. Extend your left leg back behind you. Extend your right arm out in front of you. Take some big deep breaths here. So as you're extending, also pull the arm back into the shoulder socket and the leg back into the hip socket. Claw the ground with your left hand. Press your right toenails into the ground. Big deep breaths. All right, we're going to come out to the side. So right arm goes out to the right, left leg comes out to the left. And it's not going to be perfect. We're doing a lot of balancing here, but try to breathe. Zip up your low belly. All right, bring the leg and the arm back in. Flip your toes over and find a downward dog. And then walk that down dog out. Relax your neck. Gently shake out your head, nod your head. All right, grab the back of your left ankle with your right foot and gently press your left heel down. So we get a little bit of an Achilles tendon stretch here. All right, switch legs. Grab the back of your right ankle with your left foot and press your right heel down. And you might be really tight. The heel may not actually come to the ground. So wherever it goes is fine as long as you feel a stretch through the back of the calf, Achilles tendon. All right, let that foot go. Look up, inhale, step forward. Exhale, relax. Inhale, come all the way to the sky. And exhale, arms to the sides. All right, let's do a full-blown sun A. Take the arms up on the inhale, look up. Exhale, fold. Inhale, stretch forward. Exhale, plant your hands, step back. Press forward, lower all the way down. You can drop your knees if you want to. Inhale into the tops of the feet. Again, knees can be on the ground. Drop the shoulder blades down your back, look up. And then exhale, downward dog. And then walk it out a little bit. Just check in, see how the backs of the legs are doing. Relax your neck, shake out your head, nod your head. Get a little bit of a lift under the armpits, and then roll the armpits toward each other, like you have eyeballs in your armpits. They're trying to look at each other. And look up. Inhale, step forward. Exhale, fold. Inhale, come all the way up. And exhale, arms to the sides. All right, let's do a little variation on this. Take the arms up on the inhale. Exhale, fold. Inhale, stretch forward. Exhale, plant the hands, step back. All right, so you're going to do either a side plank on your left hand or your left forearm. Just depends on how your wrists feel. So you're going to come to the pinky edge of your left foot, claw the ground with your left hand, take your right arm toward the sky. Again, if your hand, wrist is not very happy with this, you can bring your forearm to the ground. The most important part here is lifting your bottom hip up into your top hip. And if you need a little bit of help with this, if that hip is just really feeling heavy, you can put your top foot on the ground, press into the ground to help lift up the hip. You also have the option, get one more breath here, of bringing your shin to the ground. So they're all fantastic. They're all working through the core, strengthening the shoulder slowly. All right, come back to the center. I'm going to go to the other side. So right hand, right forearm to the ground, come to the pinky edge of your right foot. Take your left arm toward the sky. Lift that bottom hip. Again, you can always put a foot on the ground, your top foot on the ground, to help give you a little bit more lift. You can also drop that right shin to the ground. And then if you are feeling really comfortable about this posture, you can even lift a leg up. So there are all sorts of ways to play with this. We're going to do this again on the next round. All right, left hand back to the ground, push back to down dog. Take a couple deep breaths here. Look up, inhale, step forward. Exhale, fold. Inhale, take it to the sky. And exhale, arms to the sides. Let's do it again. Take the arms up on the inhale. Exhale, fold. Inhale, stretch forward. Exhale, step back. Press forward, lift your chin, lower down. Tops the feet, inhale. Exhale, downward dog. All right, from here, lift your right leg toward the sky. Lift your armpits up. We're going to do our side plank again, but it's a little bit different. Lunge your right leg forward. All right, now bring that left hand below your shoulder. You can also use your block. And then you're going to make sure all 10 toes are pointing forward and twist to your right and look over your right shoulder. Keep pressing down through that left hand. And then slowly start straightening up that right leg. It may not straighten up a lot if you're feeling really tight through the outside of the hip, but straighten up as much as you feel comfortable. Then exhale, come back into your lunge. Then inhale, straighten up. And then exhale, lunge. 3 more. All right, from here, walk the right foot over to about 3 o'clock. So walk the right foot off the mat, point your right foot off to 3 o'clock, and then come to the pinky edge of your left foot, and then bring your right hand to the back of your head and press your head back into your hands. You've got a little bit of a back bend happening here. All right, and bring that right hand back down to the ground. Move that block off to the side for a moment. Step back to down dog. And now lift your left leg toward the sky. Relax the neck a little bit. Zip up your lower belly. Let's go for a lunge. Bring that left knee up into your chest and step it forward. And then right hand can be on the ground, or you can use this block under your right hand. And then all 10 toes pointing forward. Gently twist to your left and take your left arm toward the sky. And then press down into the inner edge of your left foot. And as you inhale, slowly start straightening the left leg. It may not straighten a lot. And then exhale, bend again. Inhale, straighten. Exhale, bend. So your drishti, or your focal point, is over your left shoulder toward your left thumb. 3 more. One more. All right, so keep pressing into that block or into the ground and walk your left foot off the mat to about 9 o'clock. Come to the pinky edge of your right foot. Lift that bottom hip up. Nice big breaths, and then bring that left hand to the back of your head and press your head back into your left hand. So you're creating a little bit of a back bend here. All right, left hand back down to the ground. Step back to down dog. And then once you're to down dog, let's do child's pose. Drop your knees wide. Sink back into child's pose. Take a moment. Press back so that your hips are closer to your heels. So you want to press forward into the mat with your fingertips. Zip up your low belly even here. All right, let's find a downward dog. Flip your toes over, find your down dog. And look up. Inhale, step forward. Exhale, fold. Inhale, take it to the sky. And exhale, arms to the sides. Let's do sun salutation B. Big toes together, heels slightly apart. Take the arms up on the inhale, sit back into Utkatasana. Drop the shoulders down your back, see if you can get your arms a little bit more in line with your ears. What we're trying to do is access back muscles here. And exhale, fold forward. Inhale, stretch forward. Exhale, step back. Press forward, lift your chin, lower down halfway. Inhale, up dog. And exhale, down dog. Right leg lunges, left heel pivots and plants. Come into warrior one, take your time getting there. Inhale. Zip up your low belly. See if you can lift your front hip points up a little bit. Press into the outer edge of your back foot. See if you can lift the inner arch of your back foot. All right, exhale, take the hands down to the ground. Step your right leg back. See if you can lift your foot up and step it back rather than dragging it back. Press forward and lower down. Exhale. Inhale, up dog. Exhale, down dog. Left leg lunges. Big inhale. Press into the outer edge of your back foot. Try to lift the inner arch of your back foot. Lift your front hip points. Drop your shoulders. Look up towards your thumbs. And big exhale. Take the hands down on the ground. Step your left leg back. Press forward. Lower down. Inhale, up dog. Exhale, down dog. Once you're in your down dog, roll the shoulders onto your back. Get a little bit of a lift under the armpits. Zip up your belly. Try to stick your tailbone out a little bit. So you want to try to get a little bit of a curve in your low back. If there's any tightness in your hamstrings, your butt tends to tuck under here. So you can bend your knees a little bit and roll your tailbone toward the sky and then pull those front ribs in a little bit. All right, let's lunge the right leg forward again. Right leg lunges forward, back heel comes down, come up on the inhale, and then open up for warrior two. So check this front knee. Front knee should be roughly over the ankle. If it's a little bit behind the ankle, that's okay. We're just trying to find a neutral place for this knee. And then drop the shoulders. Look straight down your middle right finger. Keep breathing. So your left hip, in general, tends to be slightly in front of your right hip. You're not perfectly lined up here. But as you do this, roll your inner left thigh down and back. So you're trying to roll it in and back toward the wall behind you. And then this front thigh, you also want to open it up. So you're trying to roll your inner right thigh kind of up and around. So your right knee is stretching towards your pinky toe or your middle three toes. Keep dropping the shoulders down. And then from here, you're going to straighten up that front leg and reach through for triangle. So nice lengthening here, push down through that back heel, and then bring that right hand down to your shin or your thigh. If you're feeling really flexible, press down through that back heel a little bit more, lengthen through the right side more, and maybe that right hand will slide a little closer to your foot. And then look over your left shoulder. Zip up the belly, stick the tailbone out a little bit so there's a little bit of a curve in your low back. And then once you do that, pull that low belly into that low back to support the curve. Take about 2 or 3 more big breaths. One more big breath. And then pivot your hands down to the ground. Step that right leg back. Press forward, lower down. Inhale, up dog. Exhale, down dog. Let's go for the other side. Right heel pivots and plants, left foot lunges forward. Take your time getting it there. Big inhale as you come up. Press into the outer edge of your back foot, lift your front hip points, and then open up for warrior two. So as you check your alignment, left knee roughly over the ankle, left foot lines up roughly with the heel or arch of your back foot. Drop your shoulders, lift your triceps. Look straight down your middle left finger. And again, that right hip's going to be a little bit in front. You're getting a little bit of a curve here in the low back, so you're slightly sticking your tailbone out, pulling that low belly into support. All right, straighten up that front leg, reach through the left-hand side, and then bring that left hand down somewhere to your leg. Take your right arm toward the sky, look up towards your right thumb. Push down to that back heel firmly. Roll that left knee out a little bit, so it's lining up with your middle three toes. You can check it out and see. So this particular posture, that left knee loves to roll in toward that big toe. See if you can tack the outer left hip back. All right, let's add in one little forward bend here. So you're going to straighten up, turn your left toes forward, interlace the fingers behind the back. So this is really important here. Try to get the heels of the hands together. If that means your elbows are still bent, that's okay. Roll the shoulders onto your back, stretch your fists down. And again, elbows can still be a little bit bent. And then pull the belly and pull the front ribs in, squeeze the inner thighs, lift your heart, and then exhale, forward bend. Nice big breaths here. So arms might come off the back. That's not really the point. What's more important is that your shoulders are rolling onto your back and you're squeezing your shoulder blades together. So a really good progression to think about is chin up first, that way you have a nice curve in your neck, but you're also engaging the correct muscles in the back and shoulders. So chin up, shoulder blades draw together toward the spine, and then shoulder blades draw down the back toward the hips, and then you try to lift your arms up a little bit. All right, bend the knees, inhale, come on up. Bring your hands to your hips, toe heel in. Excuse me, woo. One more. All right, so from here, big toes together, heels slightly apart, and then we're gonna do a couple more things, add into the sun salutation V. So take the arms up on the inhale, sit back into Utkatasana. Exhale, fold. Inhale, stretch forward. Exhale, step back. Press forward, lift your chin, lower down. Taps the feet, inhale. Exhale, downward dog. Left heel plants, right foot lunges. Take a big inhale, come on up. And then exhale, open up for warrior two. Okay, so we got a warrior two here. Turn the palm of the right hand toward the sky and come into exalted warrior. So left hand's gonna slide down the left leg. Left leg is lifting up to meet the left hand. Zip up the belly. Make sure that front knee stays bent. It has this tendency to start straightening up here. So keep the knee bent. All right, come on up. And now we're gonna add a little bit more core into this. So you're gonna bring your hands to the back of your head. And we're gonna do this one more time. Lift that right elbow toward the sky. Drop your left elbow. Don't forget to breathe. All right, come back up. Release your arms out to the sides. Now we're going to do Parsvakonasana, side angle. So you're going to bring your right forearm to your right thigh. Take your left thumb and point it down. Bring the hand behind you and see if you can grab a piece of clothing on your right side or possibly your inner right thigh. So just opening up that left shoulder a little bit. Zip up the belly, look over your left shoulder. Okay, we're gonna do one more variation of this. So release that left arm, come on up, straighten up the front leg, bring your left hand to your hip. Okay, so with your right hand, you're gonna pull your thumb into the palm of your hand, and then you're gonna wrap your four fingers over that thumb. So you're making a fist, but with your thumb on the inside. Then you're gonna come into warrior two again. And then from here, You're going to bring your fist behind your back. So you're going to bring the back of your hand, the back of your fist to the low back area. Then drop your right rib cage and then see if you can bring your right elbow in and then hook it to the inside of your right leg. So you're pushing your right leg back with your right elbow and your right fist is behind your low back. I'll turn around so you can see this. Keep breathing. So you got your fist. And then you're going to bring your fist behind your back, and you're going to twist and bring your right elbow to the inside of your right leg if you can, and then push your right leg back. All right, and then release and pivot your hands down to the ground. Step that right leg back, press forward, lower down. Inhale, up dog. Exhale, down dog. Right heel plants, left foot lunges. Inhale, warrior one. And then open up for warrior two. Okay, so left leg is forward, warrior two. Turn the palm of the left hand toward the sky, come into exalted warrior. Right leg is lifting up to meet the right hand, left knee tries to stay bent over the ankle. All right, and then come on up and let's do this one more time. So from here, bring your hands to the back of your head, press your head back into your hands, and then drop that right elbow and lift the left elbow. All right, come on up, release the arms. Bring your left forearm to your left thigh. Take your right thumb and point it down. Bring the hand behind you and see if you can grab a piece of clothing on the left side or your inner left thigh. So opening up that right shoulder. Look over the right shoulder. All right, let's try that funny little thing with that left arm. So straighten up the front leg for a moment. Bring your right hand to your hip. Take your left thumb out, your left hand out. Pull the thumb into your hand, and then pull the thumbs or the forefingers over your fist. So you're making a closed fist here. Not appropriate for actual fist fighting. You could break your thumb this way. So thumb in, fingers over. All right, so come into your warrior two. And then you're going to bring your hand behind your back, so your fist is against your back. And then come into your partial konasana and twist to the right so you can see if you can get your left elbow to the inside of your left leg. And then gently push that left elbow against the inside of your left leg. And look over your shoulder and zip up your belly. All right, and then pinwheel your hands down to the ground. Step your left leg back. Try not to drag it. And then find a child's pose. Take your knees wide. Take a few breaths here and just rest and see how your body feels different. All right, look up at your hands, spread your fingers out nice and wide, flip your toes over, find a downward dog. Lift your right leg toward the sky, open up the hip and bend the knee. So shoulders should be level. Get a little bit of a lift into that left armpit. Relax your neck. All right, we did this last week and I love this variation here. So from this posture, you're going to extend your right leg, look up, flex your right toes, and then you're going to take your right leg out to the side. So we're just opening up that hip. Turn your toes forward and your kneecap forward. All right, bend the knee again. Press your right heel toward your left hip. Extend your right leg and point your toes. Zip up your low belly. And now we're going to lunge it forward. Bring that right knee up into your chest, step it forward, drop your back knee. Interlace your fingers and stretch your fists down toward the ground and open up your heart. All right, and then release the hands to the ground to the inside of your right leg and maybe come down a little bit deeper. So if you have a block, you can bring your block underneath your forearms. If you can come down a little deeper without the block, go there. You're trying to keep your spine nice and long though, so you want to make sure you're not rounding your back here. Try to keep reaching your heart forward and your collarbones forward, and then breathe deeply. Squeeze your inner right thigh in toward the midline. Your right leg might swing out a little bit to the right anyway, that's okay, but use your inner right thigh, pull in a little bit. All right, now slowly shift your weight backwards so your hips are over your left knee. Flex your right toes back towards you. Drag your right heel back and do a little forward bend over this right leg. I'm going to grab my blocks real fast. So as you're breathing, we're going to do a little shifting back and forth here. Keep dragging your right heel back. We're going to come into that lunge again. So if you want to use these blocks, lunge forward again, come into that back quadricep area again. Drag your left knee forward a little bit. All right, go ahead and come back again, hips over the left knee, flex your right toes back, maybe bend over that right leg a little bit, fold over the right leg. So you can keep doing this. We're going to do 2 more variations of this. If you happen to be on the more flexible side and you want to start moving a little bit more toward a posture that looks like the splits, you are absolutely welcome to. So you're going to come forward again. And again, if you're feeling really tight through this sagittal plane, stay moving back and forth, just like we've been doing for the last couple of moments. Otherwise, if you feel like sliding your right foot forward a little bit and gently starting to walk that back leg back a little bit, I'm not expecting splits at all. Your body is really tight in the morning, but if you want to get the extension happening through both legs, it is really a nice feeling when you come out of it because you're getting this really good extension happening through your psoas, which is the longest part of your body, the longest muscle in your body. So we're going to take a break, whichever one you have chosen, whichever intensity you have chosen. We're going to do a child's pose after this. Take about 2 more big breaths. All right, and then slide it back and find your child's pose. So take a moment and just rest. All right, let's go for the other side. So find a downward dog. Spread your fingers out. Find your downward dog. Lift your left leg toward the sky. Open up the hip and bend the knee. So both shoulders are level. Lift that right armpit up a little bit. Now extend that left leg. Now we're going to take that left leg out to the side. So flex the toes. Take the left leg out to the side. Take a moment, just look at your left leg. Your left kneecap should be pointing forward, left toes pointing forward. See if you can lift up, breathe deeply, and zip up your low belly. All right, come back to dog at a fire hydrant, bend the knee. Lift the knee up a little bit so you're feeling those outer glutes of the left hip. Extend that left leg again. Look up and you're going to lunge that left leg forward. And then again, if you want to bring your forearms to a block instead of the ground, or if you want to just keep your hands on the ground, that is something you need to worry about for yourself, your own practice, your own body. Press down into the inner edge of your left foot, drag to the midline. So left heel and right knee are dragging toward each other. Left inner thigh is going to pull in a little bit more toward the left side, just a tiny bit so you know you're engaged through the inner thighs. Keep breathing here. All right, so now we're going to move it back. And then same thing here, if you want these blocks to help you out a little bit, give you a little bit of height, flex your toes, drag your left heel back, hinge at the hips, try to lengthen your spine, always thinking about keeping that spine nice and long and not hunched. Drag that left heel in, zip up your low belly. If you feel any tugging behind the knee, put a little micro bend in the left knee. All right, let's come forward again. So back to the quadriceps of the back leg. Big deep breaths, press into the inner edge of that left foot. And this is just a really tough posture. It's just that I can't think of anything in real life that we do that where you have a one leg way in front, one leg way behind. So it's an area that we tend to lose a lot of flexibility in as we get older, not because we're older, but just because of disuse. So go ahead and come back again. Do your little hamstring stretch, drag your left heel back. All right, come back forward again. And this is where you can start deciding if you want to go a little bit deeper or not. So you can continue to take a few breaths forward, a few breaths backward. Otherwise, if you'd like to start just sort of putting both legs together, you're not trying to slide into it necessarily, you're actually trying to resist the slide a little bit. So as you start opening up a little bit more, push into the ground with that back foot, resist sliding forward with your left heel. Don't allow yourself to go too deep. You want to go to a place where it's challenging and you're resisting. You're still trying to push your legs into your hip sockets. So you don't go into a full splits. It's not a big deal. Even if you know you could do that with a warmed up body at 6 p.m. All right, and then slowly come out of this and then find your child's pose again. So we can even out the body and just check in and see how things have changed. All right, and then flip the toes over. Let's do a couple balancing postures and then come to the ground. So look up, inhale, step forward. Exhale, fold. Inhale, take it to the sky. And exhale, arms to the sides. Okay, so this next one we're going to do is more about quadriceps strengthening, engaging. You may end up wanting your strap on this one. So I'll demonstrate really fast. So you're going to bring your left hand to your hip. You're going to grab your big toe if you can. Go to the side, go to the front, and then you're going to hold it. And this is the hard part, is holding your leg up. So if you have tight hamstrings, or even if your balance is just a little off, then you may want your strap instead. So beginner variation, shouldn't call it beginner. It's not really beginner. It's if you're feeling kind of wobbly or not feeling very loose, then you grab the front of your shin instead. And then if you don't have really loose hamstrings, you're going to take your strap to the ball of your foot and extend. So notice how my arm is straight here. So you're going to extend and pull that arm bone back into the shoulder socket. And then if you happen to have really loose hamstrings, you grab your big toe. So wherever you are is fine. Press your left thigh back. We're actually working on the standing leg here. So press your left thigh back and wrap your left thigh muscles around the thigh bone. The other thing that tends to happen here is we tend to like do this whole water skiing thing. So make sure you're not leaning back. Lift your chest up. Keep pressing your left thigh back. Make sure your breaths are big. There are a lot of big muscles trying to use up oxygen here. And then you're going to take your leg or knee out to the side. You'll notice this has changed a little bit in the hip. You start feeling the outer hip doing a little bit more stabilizing. Keep breathing. If you're feeling really comfortable about your balance, look over your left shoulder. Remember, this can be a bent leg as well. This doesn't have to be a fully extended leg. And then come back to the front, and then this is where you're going to let that leg go. So if your leg is bent, you're going to straighten it now. Let go and try to hold your leg roughly parallel to the ground. Keep lifting your chest. Keep pressing your left thigh back. All right, and then let that leg go. Nice job. All right, so let's go for the other side. Spread your toes out on your right foot. Lift your left leg up. Again, you can go for the shin here. You can put your strap around your foot. Find whatever works for you. And then bent leg or extend. Press your right thigh back into your thigh bone. Lift your heart. Zip up your belly. All right, keep pressing the right thigh back and slowly take your knee or your leg out to the left. If your balance is good, challenge it a little bit more by looking over your right shoulder. All right, bring that leg back to the front. And then from here, you're going to let that leg go. So extend it if it was bent. Lift your heart, lift your chest. Press your right thigh back. And then let that go. Nice job. All right, so dancer pose next. Dancer pose, we're going to extend this quadricep. So same thing here. If you have a knee that doesn't bend very well or super tight quads, then you're going to put your strap around your foot. And you can also use a wall here. So this is great. I'm stretching through my knee. Notice my hand is nowhere close to my foot, but I'm trying to get my knee to stretch the ground so my quads are nice and long here. So this is a great variation. Otherwise, grab your foot. And then you're going to take your left arm toward the sky. So keep stretching your left knee toward the ground, so your right knee toward the ground. Lift your heart. Zip up the low belly. This is a fantastic variation too. So if you've got really tight quads, perfect. Stay here. If you're a little bit looser in the quads, grab your foot from the inside. Lift your spine. Keep lifting the spine. Press your foot into your hand, and then bring your right rib cage forward a tiny bit. Now bring your left hand to the back of your head and gently push your head back into your left hand. All right, release. Nice job. Let's go for the other side. Spread your toes out on your right foot. Again, you can hook the strap around your left ankle and stretch your knee toward the ground to get the quadricep stretch. Otherwise, grab your foot, take your right arm toward the sky, stretch your knee toward the ground. Keep breathing, zip up the low belly, lift your front hip points a little bit. If you'd like to go a little bit deeper, grab the inside of your foot. Lift your spine more, so really literally lift those vertebrae up. Lift your heart, and then push that left foot into your left hand. All right, and then come out of it. All right, let's come to the ground. So from here, let's come into a squat. If a squat is difficult for you and your knees, Then you can come up a little higher. So some people sit on a block. If you just need a little bit of extra help here, you can change your toes around a little bit. You can turn toes out, turns the toes in. If you're still feeling like the squat is not going to work for your knees, you can come up a little higher. So you'll notice my squat might be like right here, and that's fine too. So find your squat that works for you. And then we're going to go for an optional arm balance. So arm balance. There's a really fun trick here with the arm balances where you can get your hips up a little bit higher, and that will reduce some of the issues of arm balancing for, especially for women. Women's center of gravity is lower than men's. Men's tends to be up here just below the navel. Women's is in the hips. So women have a little bit more weight to hoist up simply because it's lower, right? So one really fun trick is to step on a block. And then if you come to the block, your hips are already a little higher and you don't have to worry about as much of that lifting up of the hips. So claw the ground. This is really important. Use your fingers strongly so you're not all in the wrists for this. And then you're going to bring your shins either to the backs of your arms or to the outside. So if you're coming from the outside, you're going to squeeze in like that. If you're coming to the backs of the arms, which is for the more flexible hamstrings, then you bring your shins to the backs of your arms. Either way, you lift your chin up. So big lift of the chin, zip up the belly, and then you can kind of play with this and just see, do I want to lift a foot up or not? You decide where you want to be. Eventually, big toes are going to touch. Someday, arms go straight. Play with it, see where you want to be. I find that this is really difficult to do with long sleeves on. I kind of like to have the skin pressing a little bit, kind of clinging a little bit. So zip up that low belly and breathe here. Take about 2 more big breaths. All right, so come on out of that, and we're going to come to a seated posture. And we're going to do a couple things with arms, shoulders, legs, hips, everything. So from here, you're going to come into what we call double pigeon. So double pigeon, your left leg is under, your right leg is over. In a perfect double pigeon world, your legs are perfectly parallel, but that is a perfect world. So if you're in that situation and you're like, nope, not going to happen, then this bottom foot is going to slide closer to the hip, go back a little bit. And then what you're trying to do is at least get this right ankle on your left thigh. Your knee might be popping up a little higher. If you cannot get your ankle on your thigh, use your block, put it right in front of your left knee. You'll put your foot in front here. Another variation, if you have bad knees or knees that don't bend very well, your left leg can be straight, right leg crosses over. You can even put it on a block. So you have some options here. And then once you are in a position that works for you, you're going to bring your hands to the bottoms of your feet, lift your heart, and then go for a little bit of a forward bend here. So I'm going for a lot of a forward bend. For a lot of people, their forward bend is just sitting up nice and tall. So you just decide where your forward bend is. If you're feeling it in the outsides of your hips, you're golden. That's what you need to be feeling. So big breathing. Pull the pinky toes into the midline. Make sure your breaths are big. Big inhales, big exhales. All right, let's add in some shoulders here. So we're going to go for, these shoulders are typically used in cow face posture, and we're going to use these in our double pigeon. So if your right leg is over, we're going to go left arm up. So you can put your strap in your left hand, and then you're going to take your left arm behind you, and I would grab your left elbow. See if you can bring your left arm behind your head a little bit more. I'm going to give you a couple different variations of this. Then you're going to take your right arm out to the side, point the thumb down, bring the hand behind you so the back of your hand is sliding up, and you're either going to grab your strap or your fingers. Nice big breaths here. Big inhales, big exhales. So some of us, this is a great posture, and then you go for a little bit of a forward bend. Some of us, though, have really tight front pec muscles here in the front of the shoulders, which means that This posture actually just creates a lot more collapsing forward and pinching in the shoulders. So if you're one of those people who has really tight front shoulders, or just a little bit of, you know, some of us are like have shoulder injuries, and so it may not even be the tightness, it may just be scar tissue, that kind of thing. To help with that, you can just go for one arm at a time. So instead of going for the full-blown posture, you take your left arm out to the side, point the thumb down, bring the back of the hand around, and I'm going to use my right hand to grab my left wrist and pull it around, and then I'm going to try to make a fist over on the right side. So what this is doing is this is stretching out the left shoulder, opening it up, and if there is just a lot of tightness or scar tissue there, that's a really great place to hang out so that your shoulder isn't rolling in, because that other posture tends to make the shoulder roll in if you've got a lot of scar tissue and tightness there. So big breathing, and then possibly a forward bend. So you've got your choices about how to do your arms here. Don't forget to breathe. All right, come on up. We're going to make this a little bit tougher on the hips. So you're going to try to stack your right knee over your left knee. Again, if your bottom leg is straight, it can stay straight. You just try to get that knee a little bit more over. Then once you're here, this is called cow face, where your knees are roughly stacked over each other. We're going to go for a side stretch to the left first. So you're going to take your left hand out to the side, right arm up, and you're going to reach over and get a nice big oblique abdominal stretch here. So maybe look up toward the right hand. That'll create some nice neutrality in the neck, nice curve. If you can drop that left elbow, that's the next place you want to go. Don't forget to breathe. All right, come on up, let's go for the other side. So this is the tough side since your left hip is pinned down. Take your right hand down. Again, you can use a block under that right hand. Take the left arm over, stretch over to your right hand side, and then as you're breathing, see if you can drop your right elbow a little bit. And then look up into your left hand. All right, and then come on up, and let's go for one more thing. So you're going to bring your left foot in pretty close to your hip, and then you're going to stack your right foot on the ground. So again, this may be a hip thing. I'm going to turn to the side just for a moment here. So my right foot is on the outside, on the left side of my left knee right now. Not everybody feels really comfortable. The IT band may be really tight. So you can also bring your foot to the outside of your knee. Either way, you want to make sure, whether it's the outside or the inside, that your foot is flat. So this is the important part, is that right foot flat on the ground. And then you're going to use your block behind you so that you can press your hand into the block and get up really tall. You want your spine to feel really long here. So as you inhale, lift, and as you exhale, you're going to twist. So this is Matsyendrasana, Lord of the Fishes pose. So good twist, pull the front ribs in a little bit, gently twist, maybe drop your right hip a little bit, but it's okay if it doesn't drop too much. And then if you feel you want to go a little deeper, you're going to take your left elbow to the outside of your right leg and gently press into your left leg a little bit more and look over your right shoulder. So you're just creating a little bit more twist here. Big inhales and big exhales. And just pay attention to that right foot. Make sure the right foot's still planted on the ground. All right, and then come out of this posture. Take your legs out in front. You may want to just gently windshield wiper them from side to side. And we're going to go for the other side. So right leg in, left leg over. So double pigeon, shins roughly stacked over each other, but that right foot could be closer to your left hip if you need it to be. You can also put that block in front and put that left foot forward on the block, and don't worry if your knee pops up. So again, find your double pigeon. If you can, pull your pinky toes into the midline and press up to the big toe ball joints. sit up tall, and then maybe a bit of a forward bend here. And your forward bend may not be as deep as my forward bend. It doesn't matter. As long as you feel this in your outer hips, you are in a good place. So don't forget to breathe. And smile. And find a focal point. So as you're breathing, as you've got this relaxed jaw, which makes it easier to breathe, you can look at the tip of your nose, or you can look, a few inches in front of your nose, but find a nice soft gaze in front of you. All right, come on up, and then we're gonna do those shoulders again. So again, if the shoulders are tight, this posture where you're grabbing behind your back is not necessarily great for this upper shoulder. It may be too much if you're really tight there. So grab if you want, use your strap if you want. Otherwise, you're gonna go ahead and take that right arm around, thumb down, right arm behind, and then you're gonna grab your right wrist with your left hand, pull it around, and bring your fist over to the left side of your rib cage. So that way you get this nice big stretch through the right shoulder, especially if you have any shoulder scar tissue, that type of thing. This is a really nice way to align your shoulder and gently open it up. So big breathing, maybe a bit of a forward bend. Big inhales, big exhales. All right, come on up, and then we're gonna do this double pigeon, move it into a cow face. So see if you can get your left knee slightly more stacked over your right knee. Do your best. Again, you can always have an extended right leg there. And then we're gonna go to the easy side first. So you're gonna take your right hand out to the side, left arm up, and then gently drop down. Right elbow may or may not come to the ground. Look up into your left hand. All right, come on up. Let's go for the other side. Bring your left hand to the ground and slowly go to the other side. Again, left elbow may not actually drop down all the way, but you're going to do your best. Look up into your right hand. All right, come on up, and then let's go for our Matsyendrasana. So you're going to either put your left foot on the ground to the outside of your right knee or to the inside of your right knee, whichever one you can plant the foot down more easily. Then you're going to hug, and then that block is behind you. So you're going to use that. The block is right behind your hips, and that way you can put your hand straight down and push down into the ground and make your left arm a second spine. So hugging, lift, twist from the tailbone, and move up as you look over your left shoulder. Keep pressing that left foot down firmly. If you want to go a little deeper, you can take that right elbow to the outside of your left leg and gently push a little bit more. Big breathing, pull the front ribs in. All right, and then come out of that posture. All right, so let's do one more hip opener, and let's do this as double pigeon. Actually, let's do pigeon on our backs. So you're going to line your back, cross your right ankle just below your left knee on the thigh, and then bring that left leg in. So you should feel like you've been warming up a little bit here. Take your right arm through the gap in your legs, grab the back of your thigh or the front of your shin, flex your right toes back toward your knee. That's really important. And then you can rock from side to side a little bit. And just explore, see where you might be feeling a little bit tight. Roll your tailbone toward the ground. Try to give a little bubble of air under the low back. So a variation of this, if you've got tight hips or knees that don't bend very comfortably, you can also bring your strap around your shin or thigh. And that way, if you can't quite grab around, you can use your strap to pull that leg in. So you're still resisting a little bit and still pulling the strap a little bit. Keep trying to roll your tailbone toward the ground. All right, now put your left foot flat on the ground and grab the outside edge of your right foot. So same thing here. If you don't have the flexibility to grab your foot comfortably, then you can use your strap here. And you can hang on like that. So either one. When you're here, rock from side to side a little bit more. Try to get that little curve in your low back. Now you're going to try to extend your right leg out to the right a little bit more. But the most important thing is that your left foot stays flat on the ground. So left foot flat on the ground, you can even take your left hand to your hip and press it down and extend your right leg out a little bit. So it may not go totally straight, but do what you can to just kind of extend out so you start feeling your hamstring and your inner thigh and groin opening up here. All right, bring that right foot back to the ground. Let's try for the other side. Cross your left ankle just below your right knee on the thigh. Take your left arm through the gap in your legs. Grab the back of your thigh or the front of your shin or use your strap. Flex the toes back toward the knee. Pull that right leg in. Rock gently from side to side and also try to get a little bit of a curve in the low back. So roll your tailbone toward the ground. Big inhales and big exhales. And these hip muscles are huge and they use tons of oxygen. So you want to make sure you're breathing really deeply here. All right, put your right foot on the ground. Grab the outside of your left foot. At first, just make sure the bottom of your foot's pointing up toward the ceiling. Bring your right hand to your hip and then slowly extend that left leg out to the left and get that left leg a little bit straighter. All right, release, and we're going to roll over onto our bellies and get our quadriceps. So from here, you're on your belly. And you're going to start with, let's start with the right leg. So you're going to prop up your left forearm, bend your right leg, reach back with your right hand, and grab the top of your right foot and press your right heel towards your right hip. Now, zip up the low belly. So this is a pretty extended quadricep here. Not everybody goes here. Some people are way back here. And again, if your quadriceps are tight or your knees are tight, you may end up using a strap instead. So the main thing here is whether or not your foot is all the way towards your hip or whether your foot is pointing toward the ceiling more. You want to zip up your low belly, make sure you're not collapsing through the low back. And you also want to press your right knee toward the ground or toward the wall behind you. So you're extending through the quadricep and reaching your right knee down or away from you. That's going to get you the extension that you need. The other important thing about that is that if you just pull the right leg in, your right femur bone pushes forward into the back of your hip socket. So think of this as sort of like a seesaw, your femur bone. And if you're just pulling in, the top of your femur bone rubs against the cartilage of your hip, which is not a great thing to do. So you want to kind of zip in that low belly, press that right knee down. And what that does is that pushes the top of your femur bone into the back of your hip socket. So keep breathing here. Got a couple more breaths. If your shoulder starts getting aggravated, you can always come down to your belly as you do this. We're just going for the quadriceps here, so it doesn't matter if you've got this little back bend or not. So from here, let's go for the other side. Keep zipping up the belly. You're going to put your right forearm on the ground. Again, you can always slide down and come off your forearm if your right shoulder is aggravated. Bring your left foot in. Again, you can always have it higher up. But the most important thing here is that you're stretching through the knee, pressing the left knee toward the ground, You're trying to pull that low belly up off the ground. So zip up the low belly. Support that low back with those low belly muscles. See if you can roll that left shoulder onto your back a little bit more. Breathe deeply. Now let's try for both legs. So take a moment here. So if you're using a strap, you're going to put the strap around both ankles like this. Press through the knees. You get a little bit of a back bend through your upper shoulders. Otherwise, you're going to grab the tops of your feet and then moving into those upper shoulders, stretch the knees away, roll your pubic bone toward the ground, lift your rib cage up, roll your shoulders onto your back. This is a great place to hang out. As you get a little bit more loose through your shoulders, you may bring the palms of the hands to the tops of the feet, start turning the fingers out, and eventually fingers will point forward someday. So this is a pretty advanced posture where your elbows are pointing up. It usually means your shoulders are pretty open, so don't feel like you have to go there. Zip up the belly. Keep zipping up the belly. All right, now release. And then just take a moment, make a little pillow, turn your head to one side. Big breaths. All right, we're gonna do a Shalabhasana, locust. So lift your left leg up, turn the knee into the midline, bring it back down. Lift your right leg up, turn the knee into the midline, bring it back down. So you're trapping your quads to the inside of your legs. Spread your toes out, press down through the toenails, and then interlace your fingers. Go for the non-dominant grip. Put the other thumb and first finger on top so it feels like you're holding somebody else's hand. And then stretch your fist down, pull the belly in, lift your heart up. Keep pulling those front ribs in, the low belly in. Squeeze your legs together, touch your inner ankles together, and then lift your ankles up. All right, and then release. Make a little pillow, turn your head to one side. Let's do one more variation where the hands are on the back of the head. So your forehead is going to be on the ground. We're going to do a couple different things with those hands. So forehead on the ground, hands on your back of your head, lift your elbows up, lift your legs up, and keep your forehead down. Now see if you can lift your hands off the back of your head. Now extend your arms out in front of you. Lift your head up, lift your chest up. Take your arms out to the sides and lift your arms up. Now turn your thumbs down and bring your hands back behind you so the palms of the hands are facing each other. Now turn the palms of the hands up toward the sky and the thumbs up toward the sky. So you're rolling in with those shoulders, and then we're going to do the exact opposite. Keep lifting the legs and squeezing the ankles together. Now turn the thumbs down again. Lift your chest. Now turn the thumbs up toward the sky. Lift your arms up and bring them forward. All right, release, make a little pillow, turn your head to one side. All right, plant those hands, roll the shoulders onto your back, press back. And from here, I'm gonna give you a couple of options. So I am notorious for loving back bends, mainly because I have really tight shoulders, so I love doing as many back bends as possible. But that last thing we did can be mitigated, just in case you feel any like compression in that low back. Legs up against the wall. So you take a block under your hips, take your legs up toward the ceiling. This is great because back bends tend to jack up your blood pressure a little bit, so you can take your legs up and start dropping your blood pressure very quickly. It's very calming. If you are like me and you want a little bit more upper back shoulder opener, then one block under your upper back and one block under your head. Palms of the hands up toward the sky. So those two are great for resting here. Slow down the breath. See if you can count backwards from 54. So on the inside, say to yourself, 54, inhale. 54, exhale. 53, inhale. 53, exhale. See if you can get down to 0 without making a mistake. And I only gave you 5 minutes for Shavasana, so if you'd like to stay here for a little longer, I would definitely recommend another 5 minutes. If you do need to get up and go, take a moment to bring yourself to a seated posture and bring your hands in your heart center. And just take a moment to think about what you're grateful for. There's so many things to be grateful for despite the challenges that life throws at us. Recognize that as we are more skillful with moving through the changes that life embodies, that change is not such a big deal and that new growth happens. So bring your hands up to your forehead for kind thoughts, down to your lips for kind words, and down to your heart center for kind intentions. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti.